Okay, I did a recording recently showing a MindPal process, which was fairly complex. It was one to do review and hiring of people. So basically looking at their CVs, looking at the job descriptions, coming up with interview questions, assessing the applicants, all those kind of things. And it was a multi-step, multi-branch kind of a process built in one of these tools that helps you build AI workflows. So I thought I would show you something much simpler to show you the basic end of where you might want to start with these tools to just build yourself a quick little tool to do a task for you that's an admin task that you might want to do over and over. So in this case, we built an analyzer for sales calls. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed it a recording of one of your team being on a sales call. It might be an audio file or a video file, or it might be already transcribed as a PDF or a Word document. It doesn't really matter. You're just going to give it a copy of the conversation they had with the customer. Then if needed, the next little robot's going to come along and transcribe that call. The next little robot is going to come along and review it and give some feedback on what happened in the call. Now, the way, if you haven't seen it before, the way that MindPal works is you have your agent, which is like your little AI employee. And in this case, this agent is a sales analyst, and this is what it does. So we tell it who it is, what it does, what models to use, what tools to use, all that sort of thing. And then in this here, the task, this is the instructions to the agent. So we've trained our little AI employee, and now we've told it what to do. So then when it's done those call insights, it's going to evaluate the sales rep's performance. It's another little employee whose job it is to do that. Then our next little AI employee, which is a sales strategist, post-call sales strategist, is going to work out what should we do next with this customer and draft a follow-up email to the customer. So let's run one and let's see what happens. Now, like anytime you're using these MindPal tool, you can put 100 through at once in a bulk run, but we are just going to do a single run just as a demo. So there you can do the bulk run there. So we're going to upload it a example sales call transcript. It's just a demo one, not a real call. And we're going to say, off you go, please go and do all these tasks. So it's thinking, and it's basically taking that, because it was already a document, it's just copied what was on the document. If it was an audio file or a video file, it would take a little bit longer because it would have to transcribe what was being said. So it's done that transcription. Now it's doing the next little agent has turned up, and she is having a think about what happened on the sales call. Said, yep, it was a successful call. There's a follow-up now happening with a course advisor. The prospect was curious and uncertain, but got better. The sales agent did this well. This was the pain points that we identified. This is the questions about budget, authority, time. So it's basically gone through and going, what are the decision points that the person's got to make? What's their urgency? What were their objections? Okay, how qualified are they? Now, we've told them to use this bank criteria: budget, authority, need, and timing, but you can use whatever sales model you use, obviously, in your organization. And then it's worked out, these are the action steps. Send them some info, make sure the course advisor is prepared for the call, and then follow up after the course advisor call. So our next little performance evaluator comes along and says, right, that was the outcome of the call. What do we think of the salesperson? And it's like, yep, they successfully did manage the connection. Recommendation is to keep doing more open-ended questions. They successfully identified the pain points. Recommendation is to keep asking probing questions and maybe summarize what their needs are back to them a bit. And then it just goes through basically each of the things that the sales rep did, said what they did well and what they could do better. So overall, they gave them 8.5 out of 10. That's pretty good. Good rapport building, good identification of needs, perhaps a bit more personalization of the offer, and refine the objection handling strategies and strengthen the closing techniques a bit more. So then our next little employee comes along to go, okay, now what do we do? Well, we have to schedule the follow-up call, we have to send a personalized follow-up email, and we have to give any other resources that we might want to give to the person. Here are some other opportunities. We could cross-sell or upsell extra courses. We could encourage them to refer their friends, and we want to have a bit of a feedback loop. So it comes up with some suggested adjustments in our sales strategy, and then drafts and personalized follow-up. So this is personalized to this specific person who was on this specific call, rather than just sending out general spam marketing emails. So it's like, dear person, we get their name. Thanks for talking with Steve. These are the key points. This is what we understand you'd like. Here are the next steps. This is what you want to do. So easy peasy. It took about like half an hour to build that tool. And the whole MindPal thing costs about $40 a month, and you get 6,000 credits, and I used 50 credits to do that. So pretty easy and pretty cheap to run. Hope that was interesting and useful for you.